Hello, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube. My name is Mr. Maxwell, and welcome to another side quest about video games with myself and Exile Magpie.
Hello.
Yep, back again.
We are back again.
Where to start this week?
Well, where else?
You know what? I'm not going to start. We're not going to start with NFTs.
No,
because we always start with NFTs. At the moment. So
let's start off with Battlefield.
Let's just shit on Battlefield. So this past week there was a sponsored stream.
Yeah.
They were sponsoring streams, and the game completely broke.
The game glitched out. They were stuck underneath some stairs.
Yeah.
Live on stream on a sponsored stream. Like it was admirable that they tried not to bring notice to it.
Yeah.
Like they weren't like open because it's a sponsored stream. They weren't openly criticizing because sponsored stream and all that.
Yeah.
But my God, you just cannot. You can't write this. like I've heard some people like it's the new Fallout and Fallout 76, and I'm like, yeah, because.
Yeah, it's the new Cyberpunk.
It just keeps going.
It's the new Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah, but at least Cyberpunk 2077 had an endpoint. There was the bugs on release, and then nothing until they fixed it. Yeah. Right. This just keeps going.
Yeah.
I don't want to call a dead game, basically, but
yeah, I don't like using the term dead game. But this one's starting to look very... Because, I mean, is Battlefield 1 now?
Battlefield 1, a 6-year-old game of the same series, has more concurrent users on Steam than
this one. This is... Battlefield 1 is like 2 games by, isn't it?
Yeah, because before was Battlefield V, or VAT 5, and prior to that was Battlefield 1. Mm. So, It's just like, I think the thing is right, and there'll probably be some people that will say, "Oh, but they have a No Man's Sky," and it's like, yeah, there's a slight problem with that. Battlefield 2042 is a multiplayer only game.
Yeah, the other problem is, okay, so if we put it into terms of No Man's Sky, the core thing from No Man's Sky worked.
Yeah.
This doesn't work.
It was just the game wasn't polished.
The game wasn't polished, and it needed a lot of work. To be fair,
but also No Man's Sky was. You can clearly tell No Man's Sky was originally developed as a single player experience per se. So they had the time. Online was not necessary.
Until they said, it's got multiplayer.
Yeah, but what I mean is the game still functionally works if hardly anyone was playing it, right? Which meant that they have more time. Battlefield 2042 can't work with hardly anyone playing because it's a multiplayer game. It's and it doesn't have a single player campaign, so you can't. You haven't got anything to buy your time with. Yeah, you have to fix this shit.
Yeah, but that's my point. I can't see them being able to fix it because it's the very core of the game.
Yeah, and they've undermined
broken.
Yeah, they've undermined the very core of a Battlefield game to have their specialists
to be more of a Call of Duty clone
or Fortnite. I've seen some the Battlefield. This is the thing. We've said before, you had Call of Duty, which was your more arcadey, fast-flowing combat. And you had Battlefield, which was a more grandiose, slower-paced-ish.
Slightly more realistic.
Slightly more realistic, although it did give you the tools and abilities to do really silly shit, like the Battlefield 4.
Yeah. The jump out of a
jet, blow up the guy.
Yeah.
It gave you the ability to do the silly shit. And I do wonder if they thought that's the only thing that you needed in a Battlefield game is the ability to do the silly shit, have a tank dropped onto the top of a skyscraper. I am starting to think the people who made this Battlefield thought that was the thing that sold Battlefield, and I'm like, no. what sold Battlefield was its grand scale squad orientated combat,
Wow.
right? With the tools to do random, like awesome shit.
Well, that's Battlefield, isn't it? Battlefield is like no other game really does what Battlefield does.
Yeah.
Really. Because the other games that you could say that is more grandiose, they are like your uber realistic.
Yeah, like your Red Orchestra and Hell Let Loose
those
and all that
type of games. Like if you're not good at those, you're most likely never going to get good at those.
No,
You know.
I tried Hell Let Loose and I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
I suck at that game.
I don't know
I'm
what
like,
I'm
what-
doing.
what
I
is
am a
this?
detriment to my squad, and I went, no, I'm probably not going to live long enough to learn how to get better at the game. Uninstall.
But yeah, and what they've basically done is just took that away.
Yeah.
They've took the very thing that makes Battlefield
And took it out.
and took it out.
Yeah.
And at that point, you just start looking at it and you just go, well, why?
And that's before we talk about the fact that this game clearly was rushed out. Again.
This is definitely not a game that's been worked on for 4 years.
No.
There's no way. There is a chance that maybe they were working on Battlefield 2042 for 4 years, right? But there's been at some point somebody came along and went, no, I don't like any of this.
Get it all
out and make a Call of Duty clone.
Yeah.
Somebody's done that.
Yeah.
There has to have, because there's no way this has been worked on for 4 years. There is far too many
bugs, glitches, and just
and inconsistencies,
and also like things that in test development would have basically come back. People would have come. I refuse to believe people who were doing the early testing.
You reckon they're going to do who made Cyberpunk?
CG.
Do you think they're going to do the CG Project Red one? Well, in testing, everything seemed fine. No, they didn't.
No, I refuse to believe that.
Don't
I
believe
refuse
me.
to believe that. I refuse to believe that people who were doing testing were saying that this is what a Battlefield game should be. I refuse to believe that.
I refuse to believe that they were saying that this is what a game should be.
And I refuse to believe that they were saying that. Everything's working perfectly fine.
Everything works fine.
I refuse to believe that.
The vehicles.
There's only two explanations for Battlefield 2042 to release in the state it has. One, and it to be the actual proper, we think that we're happy the game is in this condition to release, right? Because let's all be honest, that's not what happened. EA turned around and went, we need this released today.
Probably.
We need this released on this date. We're not going to delay it. Right? One or two things. Either they didn't actually bother with a testing department, or they ignored them. Basically. At some point in that chain of information, the points of this needs fixing and that needs fixing and this is not working right and this is a broken mechanic and this system doesn't work and this is too easily abused and all that sort of stuff. Like, basically somewhere along that chain, someone turned around and went, nah, I'm not going to tell my boss that. That'll make me look bad, and I don't want to look bad, so no.
Yeah.
So one of the two things, take your pick. DICE, EA, take your pick. Which one was it? Either you refused to listen to your testing department, or you didn't bother with your testing department. Because either that, or you deliberately released a game that you knew was broken. So,
which, to be fair, with them releasing FIFA like the way they have done for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if they just released it known.
Yeah, so I'm just saying you've got three options. EA DICE. You got three options.
It's the third one. They released it knowing it.
They deliberately released it broken, thinking that and this is the thing. Like, okay, if it was like Take-Two or Microsoft or Sony or some of the other companies that haven't released a live service, if they'd done this and be like, okay, they haven't had the experience of a live service being released, rushed, undercooked, unready, broken. we're not happy with it. They should have learned from all these other companies, but they themselves haven't actually done that yet. They now have. They need to learn from it. But EA had Anthem.
Yeah.
Which released in a broken, unfinished, poor, lack of content, just broken and incomplete state. And then EA go, yeah, we'll allow Battlefield 2042 to be released in as bad, if not worse, condition. How do you make money? How are you a successful business? Because literally...
FIFA Ultimate Team.
I know that.
I'm just answering the question.
Like,
FIFA Ultimate Team is the why
how do you think that you would have... The AAA game industry, literally someone needs to just basically gut the whole thing from the inside out, because it is rotten to the fucking core under a lot of things. The people in charge of those companies are not good business people. They are not. I refuse to believe it, because good business people do not... If they make a mistake, they learn from it. Not go, well, we've got Ultimate Team that just makes us shit tons of fucking money, so therefore we don't have to care about anything else. Like, that is not good business sense.
I am not going to lie, I am kind of worrying about Dead Space right now.
Yeah. So, and... You know, the worst thing is like, if you think about it, if Battlefield 2042 had released as an actual Battlefield game... complete, balanced, without abuse, with like the whole bot farming thing preemptively stopped, and actual proper like details put in. Like there's stuff that doesn't happen in Battlefield 2042 that is possible in Bad Company 2. A game console generations old. Like there is like Battlefield 4, if you're in a jet and you fly by the sea, like in one of the maps, right? If you fly by water, the jet wash and the plane going over the water actually creates a wake. Doesn't happen in 2042.
Well, you see, the sea's gotten stronger since then. You see,
obviously we have magical. You know, planes don't actually follow laws of physics. They're magic. Yeah. That's how flight happens.
You see, you don't understand. The sea saw that and was like, you know what, I need to go to the gym. So the sea's been going to the gym for the past like 10 years, waiting for this very moment of the jet plane to come back, and it's been waiting, and it's just like perked up, and it's like
it's like the details like glass. You can shoot in, I think, Bad Company 2's specialists look better than the shit that they've come out with for Battlefield 2042. Like, Battlefield is supposed to be like proper warfare. No one is roaring around in proper warfare in a neon purple suit. That is literally, you might as well just have a big fucking sign on your back saying, "Please, Mr. Sniper, shoot me."
The other problem is now you can't tell who's a friend and who's an enemy, because they don't have anything on them that distinguishes them from... The only thing you can go with is oh, that guy's on the other side of the map, so he must be an enemy. That's it.
Yeah.
But if you're doing like I think it's Conquest, where where you keep going forward, you take points, you do that, right? Once you get to the control points, it just turns into chaos, as you know.
Yeah.
Because we play Battlefield.
We've played Battlefield. We know what happens.
We play Battlefield. We
know what happens when one side gets close to taking 1 point.
Once we get to those control points, that's it. It just turns into humongous chaos. The only way you can tell...
Let's be honest, in real warfare, that shit happens.
Yeah. So the only way you can tell who the enemy is because they've got the Japanese thing on. They're like tanned.
Yeah.
They've got the tanned uniform.
Or they're in the dark. And they're in like the dark or light grey for the Germans.
Yeah.
Or they're in the greens for the British and the Americans.
Yeah. But now everybody looks exactly the same. So you just sort of because I was watching somebody who was streaming it, right? He turned around and this guy, you know when you get spooked sometimes on games and you turn and you just shoot, and it's actually just a teammate. Like he's just ran around the corner, get quick, and then you just pull the trigger. Yeah, now he did that. He shot a couple of times, and it was a team member. So he turned back around and started shooting again. Another guy came to the side of him, and he thought it was a team member, and he got killed. Because there's nothing around to say, oh, that's an enemy soldier, not a teammate.
Yeah.
There's nothing about, because the HUD's not there either.
No, the HUD is terrible. There's no scoreboard still.
No, the scoreboard's in.
Is it being just put in?
Scoreboard's just been put in. The latest update put that in.
Like, something that should have been there.
I feel like the designers of this game were the actual designers of the Epic Store. I feel like EA went, you know who needs to make a game? The Epic Store guys.
We'll put them all in DICE.
That's what we'll do. They need to make a game because they seem to know how it's done. They know that you don't put a basket in a store.
In a digital store, you don't need a basket.
You don't need that basket to go to the checkout.
Yes. Your bank is going to be perfectly fine with multiple different purchases from the same store.
Because how do you make a game that has nothing from the last one in it?
Oh, well,
how does it not have a hub? How does it not have just the basic things? You know?
I just here's another thing, they've gone hard in the selective advertising.
Yeah.
Comments. They've literally took there's a PC Gamer review, and they've taken the line my favourite Battlefield experience game. One of my best Battlefield games. Right? The actual quote is, when everything works, when everything comes together and actually works as intended, Battlefield 2042 is potentially one of my favourite Battlefields of all time. However, this hardly ever happens.
That doesn't surprise me. Well, I mean, come on. I mean, what was their reaction when everybody started complaining about the bugs and that? What did they do? They just went, oh, we've got a trans character. That's not the problem.
Yeah, that's not the problem, so?
What has this got to do with anything?
So you've got a big whoop-de-doo. You've got a trans character. Great, fantastic.
Is this Prime Minister's fucking question time? Where you're just going to bring up a different fucking subject to the question that has been asked?
Well, if it works for a certain Prime Minister, then,
I'm just, seriously, oh, we've got a trans... That's not what anybody was asking. Nobody has asked this question.
Right, here's another thing. Their anti-cheat is falsely banning people because they have some software that, say, if you've got a keyboard that lights up, you can get software that will work with a game to change to on the fly naturally change
your health
color,
and stuff like that.
For example, my Alienware, which was my first gaming PC, which died because Alienware just compact everything into a small area and it all gets really hot. Yeah. My Alienware would actually change colour on World of Tanks depending on my health, and you can get software to do that for certain games. Battlefield 2042, if you have that software, it will ban you for cheating.
Because of course it does.
Because having Afterburner software, which basically overclocks your graphics card, but also gives you stuff like temperature readings and that. That can also get you falsely banned from Battlefield 2042. So Battlefield 2042, who are struggling in regards to trying to keep on the player base, because they have less than, I think it was 6,000. It was around about 6,000 concurrent players.
I think it's less than that now.
And it's probably even less now. Would be banning players from playing their game. I mean, that's a bold move, Carton, but let's see how it plays.
You're doing well there, buddy. You're doing well.
The last thing you want to do is have even less players playing.
Maybe it's like a club. Maybe it's like you've got to get a special card and you've got to know the password. Like in the movies where you've got to knock on the door and then you just see the eyes and they go, "What's the password?" Maybe it's that. Maybe that's what they're doing. They're trying to make a special club within the whole metaverse, man. It's fucking. I mean, it's bollocks, but yeah, maybe that's what they're doing. They're turning Battlefield 2042 into a club.
that
you've got to know a password for.
You got to know someone who knows someone.
Yeah, it's gonna be one of those clubs. It's gonna be one of those. That, like,
I know a guy who knows a guy.
I know a guy. You want to get in? I know a guy. You want to get? You want to get in? Not really. No.
I just like I'm beginning to think maybe they should just take Battlefield 2042 round the back and just put it out of its misery.
Yeah, it needs to be let go. We need to keep the portal mode, and you need to work on that to make sure people don't use it just as XP
Like the
farms.
portal mode is a damn good idea. The problem is that you haven't implemented it correctly, and we said don't fucking EA this shit, and you went and EA'd it.
Because there are rumours that it's going to go free to play.
They're
going to try and maybe the portal mode is where the money's going to be.
Either that or the main
or
game.
the other way.
Yeah.
The
problem is that the main game is not good.
Yeah, why would you buy if you can
tell me any part of Battlefield 2042 would be good enough for people to play for free and then decide to pay for the game. None of it. There's not one single aspect of that game on its own that would justify the money they are asking for.
Mm.
And here's the thing: if they go free to play less than 6 months into release, can you imagine the people that paid like $100 for that game?
Aye.
Jesus fucking Christ! Like,
I mean,
it's almost like now instead of pre-ordering fucking AAA game releases, don't fucking even buy them because you're just wasting fucking money. Wait till it's launched, see if it's actually good or not broken, and then decide to buy it.
Mm.
Wait till launch.
Yeah, just see if it's a working game.
Yeah, just see if it actually fucking works as an actual game. Like I never thought because I'm not a massive fan of Battlefield 5. I think there's a lot of problems with it. Tanks are overpowered.
It still feels, but it's still a Battlefield game.
It still feels.
I'm not a fan of Battlefield.
It still feels like a Battlefield game. Also, there has been a lot of improvements. I still feel like
Battlefield 4.
The Battlefield 4 was
for me personally, Battlefield 4
probably
was
the best Battlefield, best Battlefield that they released. Battlefield 4, or 3, because they were very similar those two.
Mm.
Battlefield 4 had it balanced enough where there wasn't just one thing. If, say, for example, in Battlefield 4, you had 2 teams on the biggest map, and there was plenty of tanks for almost everyone, and blah blah blah, right? And one team had a bunch of idiots that couldn't drive a tank to save their life, and the other team had all the people who could drive a tank to save their life. There was enough tools at people's in their kits in all the different classes to be able to counter that.
Mm.
They weren't relying, and Battlefield 5 is because part of it is probably because of the setting, but it does feel like if a team has decent tank drivers against a team that doesn't have decent tank drivers, the team with decent tank drivers will win.
Just stumps over
because it takes way too long for you to kill them, and you don't have enough ammunition.
Mm.
You never have enough ammunition, and it takes so long. The reloading animations.
Yeah, it doesn't really feel like your stuff does, especially if you've got the bazookas and stuff like that. It just generally does not feel like you do any damage.
Like the Panzer camps, the portable bazookas and that. It's like, yes, against a Tiger tank, or the more heavily armored German / British / American / not Japanese. They were all made of paper mache, but still, I should know.
I don't think the Japanese have any tanks on there.
Yeah, they do. They had the Type 95.
What, on Battlefield?
Yeah.
Oh, it's actually on there. I don't think I've ever seen anybody use it.
There's a reason. But no, the thing is, the reason why the Japanese tanks were very thinly armored is because they weren't designed to go up against armor.
Mm.
They weren't designed to go up against other tanks or any anti-tank guns. They were designed to go into jungles and fight infantry.
Mm.
So that's why they were basically expected to face heavy machine guns at the most. So that's the reasoning behind why Japanese tanks. But anyway, little factual stuff and all that sort of stuff. Back to the main thing. Battlefield 2042. It takes like the issues that are wrong with Battlefield 5 and makes it worse.
Yeah, it turns them up to 11.
And I do, like I said at the beginning of this, I do feel like the people that were behind the major decisions, like the management of Battlefield 2042, basically their experience of Battlefield is all the YouTube, oh my god, this is insane videos. That's what I feel like. Because otherwise, you wouldn't have the ability to land a tank on top of a skyscraper. Because let's be honest, if your tank landed on top of any skyscraper, the skyscraper would not be a skyscraper for much longer.
Well, maybe still be a skyscraper, but there's going to be a hole in that skyscraper.
Yeah, but the problem, no, it wouldn't be a skyscraper, because the problem being with skyscrapers with a tank on top of it, even if it just goes straight down, it takes out a lot of supporting structure for said skyscraper, which means it then no longer can support its own weight, let alone the giant tank that has just careened through the fucking centre of it. So, yeah, it's just like,
It's like, why? But anyway, shall we move on?
Yeah, it's like, just put it out of its misery.
Yeah.
Put it out of its misery.
Yeah.
It
can't even get streams.
One more final thing, right? Okay, is the roadmap, which hasn't been announced. I love them. There's a meme out there. Someone put a meme of the next map is basically, you know how like the test map where it's a grid layout, and that's the next map. The following map is just a blank screen with a gun in front of it, with a gun, and then the following one is just a blank screen. I'm like, and this is the thing, Battlefield 4 had 2 DLCs pretty much almost released by now. In its lifespan, from launch to now, sort of thing. And Battlefield 2042 has had nothing. Absolutely zero fucking content. And for a live service, that's a dead game. I'm sorry, it is, because they've fucked up too much.
Yeah.
And we've been saying for plenty of games now that are released as a live service, unfinished, undercooked, with no content. It's like, we're done. The game won, like, Destiny got away with it because it was the only one in town.
And then it got away with it again because, well, they had the fan base.
Yeah. But, like The Division got away with it in a sense because it was the only... Like, the market wasn't full of these live service games. It's now full of these live service games. And the whole point of a live service game is that you don't end production on it. You still add content year after year after year. It's
very bad when the free games are... The free ones that are live service are better than the ones that you pay like $60 for.
Yes.
That's because the way I look at it for live service, like, I look at Warframe and I'm like, right, Warframe's like the bare minimum of what you need to be. Like, you need to be good. You need to work. You need to work, and you need to be at least enjoyable.
And your gameplay loop needs to be enjoyable.
Right? Yeah. If you can't do that, you're not going to survive. Right? Your game is not going to survive, especially if you're charging people for it. Because people are going to get bored of your game very quickly. Right?
Yeah.
So, if you can't beat a free game in the live service market, don't even bother.
Because 6 months down the line, you're going to close up shop.
Yeah, because no one's going to be playing your game. Because if the free games on the market are doing better than you,
have more content than you.
Yeah, why are they going to even bother playing your game? They'll play your game for about 20 minutes and then move on.
Which is what's happened with 2042.
Which is what's happened with 2042. Right?
They played it and gone, wait, this is it?
No, it's even worse for 2042 because they've just gone back. They've now moved on to another game. They've just gone back to the old ones.
Yeah, they've gone back to the old ones. Like, it's even worse. That's an even worse thing. Like, but anyway, speaking of,
Speaking of live services,
Let's talk.
Let's talk
Live
about
services that if you don't get right, will be dead in 6 months.
Yeah. Let's be honest. Let's just say it how it is. I think everybody knew this was going to happen eventually. Hyperscape. Now, I know what you're thinking, dear viewer. What is Hyperscape? Well, nobody knows. No, Hyperscape is the Battle Royale game that actually had a really good concept of being more vertical than anything else.
The map was a lot more compact. It was Ubisoft, which is why it's failed.
It was Ubisoft. It's a good idea. The problem is...
Ubisoft.
One, it's Ubisoft, and two, they released it in a stage where Battle Royale is not the thing anymore.
Yeah.
Where basically Warzone, Fortnite, and PUBG, and a couple of others that are like maybe just a little bit lower. Hunt, Hunt's come in there.
Yeah, but they all have their own unique mechanics.
They all have their own unique mechanics to it. But the thing is in the Battle Royale landscape, like they're your competition. They're the ones you have to fight.
Yeah.
Like to get noticed. You know.
Yeah. That's the whole point with live services now. You're not releasing. It's not like. It's not like in the old days where everyone was coming out with military shooters, and it was oversaturated. But most games could come out and have a decent launch and have a decent fan base because the games that would come out beforehand, there would only be so much content made for it, and then it would stop. Yeah. It would move on to the next one. That's not happening anymore. Live services are literally like continuing on. So like the more live services that come into the market means it's more competition. You're already, and now like you are coming into a market, especially with the Battle Royale and live service market, where you're instantly going up against. In a sense, it's the MMO.
Yeah. You're instantly going up against Fortnite.
Yeah, you're instantly going up against Fortnite, Warzone, and PUBG.
And that's just the popular ones.
Yeah. And not to mention H1Z1 and Hunt. Just to name a few. And like Hunt has its own thing where like technically you can potentially avoid combat.
Yeah,
with everyone.
It's a PvPvE.
Yeah.
So.
Then there's there's a like melee one that's come out, which is
Rumbleverse.
Yeah, not Rumbleverse. There's another one. There's like from China, I think.
Oh, Hunter's Legends.
Yeah, something like that.
It was on the PS5. I know there is another one coming out.
Yeah.
But I can't remember what that's called.
And so there's stuff that's really, but. You need to have it launch, and you need to have stuff in the pipeline for launch. And then you need to support it.
Yeah.
Constantly.
And that's something that Ubisoft just doesn't do.
Ubisoft don't do that.
They released Hyperscape into the Battle Royale.
Into a very, very competitive market.
With virtually no fanfare. I think they did. There was like a few sponsored streams of people playing it.
Yeah.
I know one of the streamers that I watched was playing it when it first came out.
There was a few that I watched had that plan. And the concept is really, really cool.
Well, yeah.
But
it's Ubisoft.
Which meant that there was the initial launch and then they did fuck all.
Yeah, they didn't do anything with it, which was like the surprise. And then they did this whole fanfare over it. Do you remember when they did that? Their Ubisoft's version of the Nintendo Play thing, and. There's like the half of it was all about Hyperscape, about like the artwork and all this other stuff, and then we literally got nothing after that, and then we heard nothing from updates. Nobody was playing it, and so now Hyperscape is getting switched off.
Yeah,
because
no one plays it.
No one plays it, and it's just well, of course it isn't. It's fucking Ubisoft, because they can't do anything if it doesn't have the Assassin's Creed fucking name on it.
If they can't sell time savers to you.
Yeah, if they can't turn it into an open world fucking collectathon. Like, they're not going to do anything with it.
Yeah.
And it's just sort of like... Ubisoft just suck. This is the thing with with live services for... Especially the AAA gaming industry and NFTs as well. We'll get to NFTs a bit later. But this is just going into it. Like, you guys want to sell NFTs to people, right? You can't even make a working game. Yeah. You know, the thing that you're supposed to do.
More importantly, once you stop making money off that said thing, you instantly close the service.
Yeah.
You fail to, and also like you give it the bare minimum support.
Yeah.
And even then, sometimes you don't even give that. Like, the AAA game industry is the laziest, uncreative, stagnant part of the gaming industry, bar none. And before anyone says, I want a AAA game released recently that is completely, well, not completely original because there's no such thing.
I know what you mean.
But like that actually shows something new. Because Activision just released Call of Duty. Blizzard don't have anything new coming in the pipeline.
Actually, we'll get to that, but yeah.
EA literally have Ultimate Team and nothing else. Like, when was the last time EA, apart from what Respawn has released, what has EA done that's new? Because I don't count the fucking we give money to the independent scene to make people like us. I'm sorry, no. You burnt that bridge when you fucked up all the other things. And also when you basically kept saying, it's not gambling. No, it is. Fuck off. Go back. Go away.
Actually, I can't remember the last indie game that they actually...
I know Way Out was them.
It must have been Take-Two then.
Might have been Take-Two. But my point being is that Take-Two don't do fuck all apart from release a broken NBA game and GTA 5 Online.
Oh, don't forget the 2K WWE? Or is it WWE 2K?
WWE 2K, but 2K, it's still 2K. Yeah. Oh yeah, so a wrestling game that they release on a yearly basis. The only reason why they didn't release one last year is because the one the prior was that broken that it was literally unplayable.
They've had to make a new engine.
They had to make a new engine. It was that broken. Like, it is WWE 2K20? Yeah, WWE 2K20 is the Die Another Day of games. It was that broken, they had to go back to square one.
Yeah.
It was that broken. I'm struggling to think of an original IP, a new IP from anyone other than Respawn in the AAA game industry.
Even then, I don't even think Respawn's done anything new.
The last one was probably Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah, but that's not a new IP.
No.
Not really.
But that's what I'm saying. That's the last one I can I can remember. I mean, yes, there's a whole bunch of stuff coming from Microsoft because they bought all the studios, but they're not out yet. Most of them.
No, and Microsoft are just turning into Disney.
And most of the original stuff was either from small or indie developers. Very, very few of the big fucking corporations actually have original ideas, or at least it feels like it.
Yeah.
And that should be concerning, because that's where the vast majority of the money goes. And if they're not being creative, where's the money going? I know, for Activision,
we know where
Bobby
the money's
Kotick's
going.
paid them.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, yes, potentially Bobby Kotick is not going to be at Activision in the long term, but he is still there now, as far as we're aware.
He's still there.
Therefore,
Activision
Blizzard are still a giant pile of trash that really needs to be gutted from the inside out. But anyway, shall we move on to the next one?
Yeah, are we ready for this? Because we're talking about considering we were talking about Ubisoft.
Yeah.
Are you ready about this? A lovely interview with one of the Ubisoft, I think, execs.
Oh, great! This is going to be fantastic.
He's a VP at Ubisoft's Strategic Innovations Lab.
Vice President. Great. Let me. Is this about
Basically,
NFTs?
yes, it is. Basically, it's the you know how Ubisoft released Ubisoft Quartz,
Yes.
which is the NFT.
The NFT / cryptocurrency / bullshit slash toxic, money grubbing, unregulated. Probably will be at some point without regulation used in some sort of criminal enterprise to launder money.
Basically, the whole interview, and it just basically strains down to this, the whole thing, because there's not much really in it other than we're basically being told that we don't get NFTs, and that's what the problem is. That's why we don't like NFTs, because we don't understand.
We don't understand.
We've all got dunce capses on and all that sort of stuff. We're all stupid.
Oh, that's it's not the thing that we don't trust Ubisoft with any sort of monetization.
So one of the questions is. Basically, the interviewer says, let's try making sense of it. Let's talk about making sense of the NFTs. What do you think is the big positive that gamers are missing about NFTs like Digits can offer? Because Digits is the currency, I think.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yes, let's all hide all the stuff in jargon.
That's
not suspicious.
The Ubisoft person. The Ubisoft vice president is Nicholas Pouillard. I'm probably butchering his name. I do apologise.
That's okay. He deserves it. He's a vice president for Ubisoft.
So he answers this by saying, I think gamers don't get what a digital secondary market can bring for them. For now, because of the current situation and context on NFTs, gamers really believe it's first destroying the planet and second, just a tool for speculation. But what we at Ubisoft are seeing first is the end game. The end game is about giving players the opportunity to resell their items once they've finished with them or finished playing the game itself. So it's really, for them, it's really beneficial, but they don't get it for now. Also, this is part of a paradigm shift in gaming. Moving from one economic system to another is not easy to handle. There are a lot of habits you need to go against, and a lot of your ingrained mindset you have to shift. It takes time. We know that.
Right. Do you want to put your 2 pence in before I do, or?
It's just a lot of bollocks.
Well, yes. Right. So here we go. His argument is players would make money. I don't play games to make money.
Yeah.
No, not many people play games to make money.
Unless it's their job.
Unless it's their job. If you're a popular Twitch streamer, pardon me, if you're the ninjas or the cutie pies or the admin barus of the world, yes, your job is playing games on stream to a large fan base. You technically get paid to play games, right? Granted, I would argue that you basically are providing an entertainment service that people are willing to pay you money for. That's a more accurate description in my opinion, but it's my opinion. However, the vast majority, 99.99999 into infinity of people who play games do not play games to make money. I do not want my games to be another fucking job.
Yeah.
No.
Plus, how does that... It doesn't really make any sense. Oh, you can resell your items in-game. What? Are you telling me that my game has stuff that person over there doesn't have? Because then you're not selling a product to people. You're breaking... you're breaking laws here by doing that. You can't do that.
Well, here's the thing. The AAA game industry, and this is the next step that they want. This is what they want this is the actual end goal they want. The AAA game industry. They don't want people to buy games. They want people to buy access to games.
Yeah.
Which is bullshit.
Yes.
It is the biggest pile of fucking
See,
crap.
Battlefield is just like that's what it is. I'm telling you, club. There's going to be passwords and everything. You're going to have to go through shady alleys. You have to wear big... I'm down for wearing the big trench coats and the hats. So.
I don't play Minecraft. I didn't buy Minecraft to make a banner and sell it to people. That's not what I That's not what I play Minecraft for. I play Minecraft to build things. You know, to go exploring and find cool shit. And
I play Minecraft to die in caves.
Yes.
That's what I
do. A lot of people die in caves in Minecraft.
I die in the caves all the time.
Yes. It's even worse if you find a mineshaft full of poisonous spiders. That's bad news. Bear time. It's terrible. It's pain and suffering. However, games are entertainment. Entertainment is made for people to get away from their normal day-to-day life.
You know, to entertain people.
To entertain people. That is what games are for. They are not there for people to make money. Well, they're there for the companies who make the games to make money from the games. That's basic principle.
Yeah, it's not for the players to make money.
The people don't buy games to make money. Vast majority don't. And the fucking crypto bros that are constantly going, oh, no, the people don't understand. Or they're not getting on, they'll be missing out. It's like, no, I don't give a fuck about your fucking crypto-blowing blockchain crappy bullshit. Mafia invested bollocks. And, you know, allegation, apparently. No, I don't want a part of that. I don't want to be worried about how much my fucking sticker on a car will be worth 5 years from now, because I've been really. I don't give a shit. And when they say, "Oh, they think it's a speculation," it is. People are buying these NFTs under the basis that it will be worth more later down the line so that they can sell it for a profit. That is what they're doing. They are literally buying stocks. They are literally, like, the way people present the money value of an NFT is exactly the same way people present the monetary value of a stocks in company. That is literally what you see. You see that chart of the line going up and down, up and down. I'm sorry, if it looks like stocks, if it acts like stocks, and if it's used like stocks, then it's stocks.
It's a duck. That's what it is. It's a duck.
I'm sorry, but, like, no. And in regards to the triple game industry getting involved in NFTs, Ubisoft is the prime example of why the gaming fan base do not want this. They deliberately, knowingly, and fully aware of the consequences, broke the breakpoint.
Yes.
They deliberately broke the founding gameplay loop of Ghost Recon. They deliberately did it. They deliberately did it so that they could force sell people microtransactions. They've done this with every single one of their games. They basically go, unless you're willing to literally do every single fucking quest in an Assassin's Creed game, you will be under level by the next story mission. Forcing people who don't have time, who have to go to work, who don't sit at home all day playing the one game, forcing them to try, basically shoehorning them, dragging them to the store to buy their time savers. If your game was balanced in an experience game-wise properly, you wouldn't need time savers.
Very true.
The very fact that you do shows that you've deliberately made your game to be grindy.
And the bad time of grind as well, not the good kind of grind.
No.
And
this is why we don't like, because we know what the triple game industry is like. Activision with their fucking microtransactions. FIFA Ultimate Team from EA. They are a absolute...
Scum.
Yeah. They deliberately undermine. FIFA is an absolute shit show.
Yeah. But Ultimate Team works. So.
Madden 22 is even fucking worse. It is a shell of a game it used to be. There are features missing from all of the thing. And
they charge you $18 for green.
Let's go with 2K. back to WWE, the WWE games. 2020 was an absolute fucking clusterfuck of failure. And what have they done with the 2022? New feature mode. GM mode. A feature that was in a PS2 fucking game. For WWE Raw vs. SmackDown 2008, I think.
Actually, I think it's been in all of them. Apart from the last 2K game.
No, there's been there's the WWE Universe mode.
Oh yes, Universe mode. Yes,
Universe mode.
Well, GM mode was in. I know that for certain.
GM mode was 2008, and maybe a couple after that. But I know when it was the SmackDown versus Raw, because there was the whole thing of like one player would be the SmackDown GM thing, and you were basically the booker. You would book the matches and get the rivalries going. Whoever had at the end of a year, whoever had the most fans wins. And the person who didn't got fired. But and this is the thing, EA do the same. They remove features and then say, oh, we've got this brand new feature, X factors for players. Dude, your Madden game 10 years ago had that.
Had that very same thing.
Had that very feature.
Yeah.
Fucking FIFA 22 and has create a team mode. Really? Oh, great. You know what I can do? I can boot my GameCube fucking version of FIFA 08 and do that. These are not new features. Don't celebrate them. So this is why we don't like the triple. And this is the thing. What benefit in a game does an NFT give you?
A barcode.
No, benefit.
No, I'm just saying it gives you a barcode.
I know it gives me a barcode. Well, no, it gives me a receipt of a barcode.
It gives me a barcode on my imaginary helmet that I have.
It gives you not one CEO, not one vice president, not one senior executive has come up with an actual gameplay benefit to NFTs.
I think the world, they want the world to end up like WALL-E. So we're all in these.
I mean, Ready Player One.
No, it's not going to get to Ready Player One. That actually looks fun. We're going to be like WALL-E. We're going to be on a ship in space, or everybody too fat to fucking move. So we're all on hover chairs. Right, that's what's going to happen. That's what they want.
It's just and also here's the thing. Also, creative mode, create modes will be just shift off.
Yeah.
Because if you could create something, if you could do because there's no way they'll actually finance the servers needed for a create a character mode to accommodate every fucker that plays the game. I refuse to believe that, because that would cost way too much money. There's no way they'd do it. So create a mode, create a team or create a player or something. Those modes would just be yanked out of the game, and then you would have to buy these NFTs.
Oh yeah.
To have your character look unique.
Yeah.
Because they know people get kids at school get bullied if they have the default character in Fortnite, which is fucking bullshit. Because have you seen
kids are kids.
I know kids are terrible.
Yeah.
Kids are terrible, but that's why they do it.
Yeah.
It's why they do it. It's why they have the default character and they then sell the cool looking shit. And that's why we don't want NFTs, because we know how the AAA game industry is going to abuse the system to fucking shoehorn it in.
Speaking of that sort of stuff, Team 17, the people who make Worms, they've announced that they are making environmentally friendly NFTs. Now, we would also like to notice that the development studios under Team 17 did not know that this was happening.
Because of course not.
I mean, why would you let the people that work for you know that this is what you're doing?
Team 17, yes, let's have NFT. Team 17, a company that's pretty much dependent on its public perception, decides to, I don't know, let's just torpedo our own public perception. Let's do that. Oh, it's environmentally friendly because that's the only thing we're worried about.
These limited edition unique pieces of computer-generated artwork will be sold by Reality Gaming Group, which uses a side chain of the Eurythma mainnet.
Here's another thing.
It's lovely.
Here's another thing. Oh, they're computer generated. Wait, so in other words, a human being has had no input into what this looks like. And you're calling it art.
Mm-hmm.
No effort has been put into this thing, and you are calling it art.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah.
I'm telling you, we're going to end up like...
Your comparison to
Wall-E. We're going to end up like...
No,
Wall-E.
but like you've said in previous videos, like comparing it to like the 1990s modern art, where it was just complete and utter bullshit.
Yeah.
It's sounding very much more truer. But it annoys the fucking hell out of me. Like, no one has like. Why do you need this? Why are you doing this? Who thought this was a great idea? Because it clearly wasn't anyone playing the game. Clearly wasn't anyone. You're a game company. You're supposed to make games, not NFTs. NFT. What part of an NFT benefits your game? Oh, well, it's another income revenue. But you're saying you want NFTs so that players can make money. If players are making money, you're not making money unless you're deliberately, making a good cut of the fucking
Yeah, I was going
price.
to say, are you not going to make a cut of it?
Which is it? Yeah, that's the whole point.
Yeah.
That's the whole plan. That's the plan. That's the plan of what they want to do. And again, like, the only way NFTs have any sort of like viability, personally, in my opinion, in a solely financial setting, right, is if they were allowed to go across any game. Right?
Yeah.
Do you honestly think EA is going to allow Ubisoft NFTs on their EA games? And do you honestly think Ubisoft is going to let EA NFTs on their Ubisoft games? No, they're not. Because the only way they'll allow it is if they fucking spent so much money that it makes the NFT unprofitable. It's not gonna fucking happen. You're gonna have fucking EA credits or whatever the fuck they'd call those. Ubisoft fucking bullshit. Digits. 2K kilos.
Do you want to know something? It does get worse.
Yeah.
So Atari's coming into the NFT space.
And Atari, which is a company that went bankrupt, got bought back, went bankrupt again, got brought back, got bankrupt again, and somehow is still around.
Yep. They're now coming into NFTs, but not just NFTs. No. These are not just NFTs, mate. No, these are NFTs in a loot box.
Yes.
In a randomly generated loot box.
Yes, because how trust Atari to take something that is terrible and make it worse. I mean, there's only one other company that I would imagine would try that and think that's a great idea, and that's Konami, because Konami is Konami, and Konami are the worst. Seriously, someone needs to...
How does this work? Because the whole idea of the NFT is that there's only one of each thing.
Yeah.
Right? That's the whole idea.
Yeah.
So how the fuck does this work?
Oh, this is just...
You can't do this.
This is complete and utter gambling. This is actual gambling. Except it's not even gambling on some, like... this is literally like going to a slot machine, not knowing what the potential prizes are, and then just pulling the lever. That's what all this is. That is all it is. It is fucking horrifyingly awful. I mean, hell, the game industry is not helping itself with this bullshit.
Oh, they're not called NFTs. These ones. I do like this article. These abominations are being called GFTs because they're wrapped up like digital GIFs.
Oh, fuck off.
Isn't that nice?
Go fuck.
And don't reveal their true content until a specified future date. Oh my.
Are you fucking taking the fucking piss?
Yeah, each NFT loot box will contain one of 10 images inspired by the gaming company's past.
It's Atari. They're not going to be that impressive.
Yeah, it's just going to be like the 8-bit fucking
yeah.
Castlevania bloody shit that Konami was shilling. Like, okay, yeah.
It's not even worse because it's
not even 8-bit.
Yeah. It'll be E.T.
Oh, God.
It'll be fucking E.T. That's one saving grace with Mahjong being part of Microsoft. And Microsoft at the moment, currently, saying they don't want anything to do with NFTs.
Yeah, I don't think Microsoft are going to have anything to do with it.
Because the one very exploitable thing that I could see
Minecraft.
with Minecraft is the player skins.
Yeah.
I could see that being abused to fucking hell with NFTs, and I'm like, no.
I mean, you could argue that they're
fuck
kind of abused as it is now, with the amount of microtransactions you have to do. But
Well, yeah, but that's the
It's-
console versions.
yeah.
The PC versions, I'm pretty sure you can still like get a custom skin from like websites, or if you're good
Yeah.
enough, you can design your own and put it into the game. I still think it's still possible on PC. Consoles is different, which is where all the microtransactions come from, and that is abusive as hell. But I'm getting sick and tired of these companies just fucking jumping on this awful and then Team 17, it's environmentally friendly. How? Do you know how the fucking energy is taken for those servers? Do you know how they make their energy? Do you know how they regulate the cooling systems? Do you know how they
this is what I want now, with it being environmentally friendly. I want them to be, yes, this is environmentally friendly, and there's just some guy called Stan on a bike. Just like, that's all he does. That's all he does. He's not even allowed off.
And again, like, we're talking about the game industry here. In 5 years' time, are these servers going to still be up? Draining their resources?
Like, what happens if only one person buys this NFT? Are you going to keep those servers up for that one person?
No! You're fucking not, are you?
It's like I said, like, NFT is the new modern art. It's going to be around
Except it's being pushed like a fucking pyramid scheme.
Yeah, in terms of being pushed. It's going to be around for a while. Unfortunately, it's not going to go away because people are stupid and rich, and people who have more money.
There's a lot of people that have invested in the hope that dumber people will pay more money for it and then be left with the bag at the end.
Yeah.
When inevitably the fucking floor falls out of this fucking thing.
Yeah.
Because, like, one, the amount of money that's being fucking touted around will lead governments to literally go, like, we need to regulate this.
Yeah.
There's already, like, the rumblings of, like, we need to get on top of Bitcoin.
Also,
we need to get on top of cryptocurrency because it's the fact that it's not regulated, stringent enough. People are using it to launder money now.
Well, it's not just that. Like, right, if you think about it, really, NFTs. If NFTs are what they say they are, right? NFTs should be into the art section, which gets regulated. Yeah. Quite regularly, because obviously.
Well, the thing is, right. Either A, it goes in the art section, or B, it goes in the stock market section.
Yeah.
One or the other. And here's the thing as well: is like. Nothing stops someone taking someone else's art and making an NFT of it, because it's not the actual fucking art. It's just a receipt. This is the thing. I don't understand why people pay so much money for what is basically a receipt of something. Like,
not even a real receipt.
Like, yeah, it's not even a real. It's a digital receipt of saying you own this link.
So, like, what happens if your computer just absolutely dies?
Well, that's what the server's there for. But this is the thing. To confirm that it's... Here's another thing, right? They're getting very close to, apparently, like, there's a couple of companies and countries that are trying to work on these, like, quantum computers. Well, basically, it's what a computer can do with, like, hacking, but, like, a bajillion times fast. It's much faster, so it can, like, run through all, like, different hacking, cracking stuff and all that sort of stuff. Right? Can you imagine if a person gets the ability to hack into these servers?
Oh yeah.
That's the worst thing can happen. They'd have to and again with the triple game industry, I don't believe they pay the money needed for a stringent enough firewall, for a server to stay open as much as it needs to be, indefinitely. Like, when is the last time, like, when do you think a AAA game industry will ever have a server for indefinite time period? It's not. They're never going to do that. Why would they spend money on something that they don't want to use anymore? And when the fad dies out, that's what's going to happen. They're going to pull all the servers.
My God. So the GFTs, the gift NFTs, rare.
Oh my God,
they've got a rare common fucking epic. Kangaroo.
Oh dear God.
This is the world. This is the world we live in now.
Look, and again, as I say, if you are stupid enough to spend the amount of money that some of these NFTs are selling for, go give your money to a fucking charity.
Give it to a charity. Invest in something.
Give it to a charity, or go commission an actual fucking artist, because artists are getting screwed out of this.
Yeah,
and the actual artists are being screwed out of money through this because people are going, I've got an NFT. Blah, 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 blah. Did the artists actually get the money for? Oh no, just this company.
I see.
That right-clicked, saved their image, and then
just copy pasted their picture.
And if you commission an artist, do you know what happens? You get an actual piece of fucking art.
Yeah, you get a decent piece of art, and you are actually contribution to the economy.
Yeah.
You know.
But heaven forbid the rich, the stupidly the billionaires, heaven forbid them to actually contribute to society.
Oh yes.
Heaven
yes.
forbid.
We don't want any of that. No.
Heaven forbid their billions and billions of dollars ever go actually into the economy and not out of their blooming tax haven bank accounts.
Yes.
Heaven forbid that.
Yes. But anyway, I think we'll move on because I think that's enough about.
I think really NFTs are fucking.
We need to just get rid of NFTs.
They do not benefit.
Unfortunately, like I said, I think it's the equivalent of modern art. It's going to be a while because there's stupid enough people to actually.
I know we can't stop NFTs from existing. We can't. But we can try and stop NFTs encroaching on computer games because we do not want that cancerous piece of shit in our games.
Yeah. But anyway, we are going to talk about. I want to talk about this because we've been talking about Blizzard in a negative light for a while.
Yeah.
And I just want to talk about something that could be positive.
Potentially.
Basically they've been working on a new survival game for the last 5 years. It's in a playable state, so it's probably an alpha. There isn't a name. They haven't given it a name, but they've also been working on another game. There's 2 games, brand new IPs.
Not counting Diablo 4.
Not Diablo 4, not Overwatch 2.
Overwatch 2.
They've been working on a survival game for the last 5 years. Again, there's no names. There isn't really much.
Problem is until we actually see actual footage and an actual release date, it's because you got to remember, Blizzard wanted to do a sci-fi MMO.
Yeah, the Titan.
And Titan, which eventually got transformed into Overwatch because Titan fell through and it didn't happen.
Yeah.
So, it could be that this is going to be something good and new, which will be great, potentially. But again, considering the fact that Reforge and Diablo 2 weren't necessarily great when they re-released those. And that's the last load of stuff that they've actually released, new game-ish wise. And let's all be honest, the last few stuff for WoW has not been the greatest. Development on Overwatch 1 has literally just screeched to a halt. There is no such thing. Overwatch 2 is what sounds like in development hell. And Diablo 4... apart from about 20 seconds of game footage, nothing.
Well, we know the rogues in it.
Yeah.
We've
got some cool cinematics.
Yeah, so we've got this again. There's no name. But what we do know is that it's been in development since July of 2017. So about
4.5 years.
Yeah, 4.5 years, going on 5 if we round it up.
Yeah.
There's not much.
Not much detail.
There's not much detail, but I just figured, you know what, we've been shitting on Blizzard for a little bit.
I mean,
and well deserved.
Well deserved.
Well
Also,
deserved.
maybe the game would be in a in a more advanced stage after 4.5 years if the staff weren't being abused like hell.
Yeah, and if Bobby Kotick would actually let them probably make it instead
Yes.
of just constantly telling them to do microtransactions.
Microtransactions and get into the Call of Duty mines.
Get everybody to build those new mounts for World of Warcraft. No, don't focus on the game. Just get that store stocked.
Yeah.
That's what they've got to do. So, I'm hopeful. This most likely will be a Microsoft exclusive.
Yes.
This is probably going to come out after the deal's done.
Yeah.
Most likely this is going to be
an Xbox
exclusive,
Series X exclusive.
as well as the other game.
Although, if you have PC, you will probably be able to get it.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. The one thing I'm actually looking forward to is potentially actually getting back into not caring about playing Hearthstone. Like, just basically playing Hearthstone, getting shit on by the game's RNG, and being like, yeah, okay, fine, I don't care anyway. Instead of going, I'm not touching Hearthstone with a 50-foot board full, while Bobby Kotick is in charge of Activision Blizzard.
But the concept art is pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. It looks kind of like very Horizon, but more fantasy. What I mean is like very open fields and stuff like that, but you've got like technology.
I'm looking at the concept art, and I'm literally having Horizon / Breath of the Wild vibes. Like the color scheme is very bright.
And I think it's going to have like it's going to be like a cyberpunky Breath of the Wild sort of thing.
Yeah, so like Horizon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but with a little bit more technology other than just in the caves and stuff.
Yeah.
You're actually going to be able to see it like poking out of the ground and stuff like
that.
But that's the concept art, and it looks pretty cool.
You see, I've been burned by EA over concept art. Like when I only see concept art, I'm like, you haven't got a game yet, have you?
But this is clearly, I think, alpha. I really don't think it's going to be because they've not even got.
Look, the last time Blizzard released a new IP, it was Overwatch,
and it was good. And then they fucked it.
They fucked it up by forcing esports onto it, but
that's what it is. But you can only cross your fingers and have high hopes. Can you? That's all you can do. I'm not expecting much, but I'm not a Blizzard fanboy.
Hope for the best, prepare for the worst.
Exactly. That's all you can do. But yeah, I think that's about it.
I think that's it.
Dying Light 2's out this week. I had to put that in there. Because I'm fucking getting it. I can't.
Yeah,
I've seen enough of it.
I'm looking at it and going, looks cool.
I've seen it. I mean, I was always going to get it anyway because I loved the first one.
The first one is really fun.
I played that to death. So I didn't really need much convincing, but me personally, I think I've seen enough of it to be like, I'll give this.
I'm going to get it.
I'll get it.
As long as it actually works.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember who's releasing it. It's
Treyarch.
I mean, Dying Light released in a complete working state.
It did have bugs when it first released, but it wasn't.
Cyberpunk.
It wasn't like Cyberpunk.
Yeah, it was released in a working state. Like
an
open world game will have bugs because, like, unless you take the time, the stupid amount of time that it would take to literally cover every single blade of grass, walking over it and doing everything possible there, things will come through. But like, it still worked.
Yeah.
So there.
We've got Dying Light. Yeah, we've got Dying Light 2 this week. We've got
Elden Ring at the end of the month.
We've got King of Fighters halfway through. Dynasty 9 Empires is also coming out this month. There's a couple of other games coming out. Biking's just been released for Guilty Gear.
Yeah, I know. I've had a quick try of it. I'm terrible at Guilty Gear. I've just come to that conclusion.
You just suck at Guilty Gear.
Yeah, I suck at Guilty Gear, which is a shame because I like it.
That's fine. It's Arc system works. You got to remember, like, when it comes to 2D fighters, your experiences Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat.
Yeah,
that's really about it. And Guilty Gear is we can all agree on is not Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
So
this month is going to be.
It's going to hurt your wallet.
Yeah, it's going to be terrible.
It's going to hurt your wallet, but I think I'm only going
to.
Well,
I need to be careful because like I said last week, my MOT is due the end of this month, so I need to make sure I've got money in the bank.
I've got money, but I'm only really going to be buying 2, and that's Dying Light at the beginning and Elden Ring at the end. So, yeah. But anyway, I do hope you've enjoyed this chat. Of course, any comments, just leave them down below. And I do hope you've enjoyed this one. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye now.
Toodles.